Okay, again, I'd like to thank Dan for those inspiring words. Appreciate it. See, I learned two things from his words already. One, I should correct my English and say he still is a distinguished engineer. It's not over yet, Dan. And the second thing is, I'm going to call my stockbroker too. Okay, so let's get back on the agenda a little bit. But before we do that, as most of you noticed that on the last page, there was supposed to be another gentleman, Alize Sayedi, and unfortunately, he passed away before he was able to come here. So if it's okay with everybody, let's take a moment of silence. Okay, and he really was a remarkable gentleman because I actually knew him when I was at RPI, and he was a PhD student in my department, electrical engineering. And so it's really unfortunate. Okay, so I'm going to make a few remarks, and you'll soon see why I let Dan go first, because it will facilitate my remarks. He already covered mine. So, let me just introduce our advisory committee, and if you will, stand up. Nadine Aubrey, is she here yet? Oh, there you are. Welcome. Edward Berger. Okay. Naomi Chesler. It's coming later, okay. Trevor Harden. I know he's here, yep. Lisa Gresham. Larry McIntyre is right there. Daryl Pines, I'll introduce him again later, and myself. But yesterday we critically introduced you to the two staff people, and they're very important. But let's, so in case you forgot them, Elizabeth Cady, where are you? Probably in the back doing work again. And Jason Williams. Jason's right here. And also, we introduced you to Dan Moat and Lance Davis I introduced last night. But are you here, Dan? Lance? There we go. Okay, well, and we should all thank everybody on that list for bringing you this Frontiers. Okay, just to remind everybody, this is really the sixth O'Donnell-founded foundation. What I got mixed up about, it's O'Donnell Foundation in the first three, and then it's McDonald Foundation. It's a different foundation, right? Different person, okay. Sounds like the same thing. Yeah, I thought I may have misspelled it. Yeah, language is, English is my second language, okay, guys? Don't be tough. Anyway, so this time we're having 77 attendees. Unfortunately, one will not be here, but I believe everybody is scheduled to be here. Okay. Now, this is why I'm going to skip this, because Dan did a remarkable job explaining the vision and mission of this Frontiers of Engineering Education. We all have a lot of issues that I'm sure you're encountering now. These are some of it, and I see from the reading your innovation that you're addressing some of these. There are lots more to be addressed, of course. All right, so I applied to myself same thing that we've asked you to do, which is really what innovations there are. So let me just explain this great chart. Being an engineer, charts are my business. So let's just go down one of them. So when I started way back at RPI, was my first teaching position, I always felt that everybody was into the last minute. Everybody. Okay? Thank God for the last minute is the saying, right? Otherwise, nothing will get done. And what's really interesting is we decided at RPI to really, try to get people to be more self-paced, okay, not depend on the last minute when homework is due or test is due or on and on. Okay, so here's what we did. We developed the self-paced courses, which are really tests that people take as they go through the course. And first thing we realized, we had to make sure they took the test in certain frequencies, otherwise they would leave everything to the last minute. Okay, so that wouldn't work. So we did all that. By the way, Dan, Nariman Farvaden was my key TA, and he did an excellent job. Nariman was his provost. Did an excellent job. That's right. Okay, so I'd like to evaluate what happened. It was partially successful. Why? Because the TAs and the instructors, we had to constantly update those tests. Why? Because those tests will be out to fraternity files in 2 seconds, okay? I swear, they just send people in to just get the test and put in the fraternity file. All right, so I think it was partially successful because technology wasn't there yet. Now with adaptive testing, it's amazing. I think this could be resurrected as a potential success. Okay, interdisciplinary research. So at RPI, we got together. I mean, that was the easy part. We got faculty together that wanted to become an interdisciplinary department from engineering, from management, and from science, mathematics. So we called this department DSES, which is Decision Sciences and Engineering Systems. And the whole reason for us forming this was to get more interdisciplinarity in terms of both teaching the courses. So that's what I did. I thought I was so smart, I'll just assign them. Yeah, right. And guess what? The faculty, as soon as we assigned multiple faculty with different disciplinary background, slightly different, but still in the decision science area, they would break the courses. You take the first half, I take the second half. And who got integrated? The students had to get into this integration. So I would count that as a failure, total failure. Please, you have another challenge in front of you. Don't worry about failures. Just get up and do it again. So that's what we did when I went to University of Miami. This words, I mean, we use it a lot, integrating research and education. It's a big word, and we use it all the time. But ever since I was teaching at RPI, for example, and many other schools, when you say research and education, they usually mean what? Graduate research, undergraduate education. Okay, those two are far apart. So at what we did was I also have 2 associate deans, one for research and one for academics. But each associate dean was responsible both for undergraduate and graduate research, for example, and undergraduate and graduate teaching. And I think it's worked out really well. In fact, I would say that at we are close to doubling our undergraduates. The undergraduates really like it. They took to it. I was having some problem whether they would say, hey, you're making us do something extra because we're not giving credits for this. We're just opening up our labs, okay, our graduate labs. And the reason that I think they liked it is because finally, in the graduate labs, that's where to do critical thinking. And let's be fair and honest with ourselves. In the classroom, we hardly have time to get them to think critically, right? There's one answer to every homework problem, one answer. It's all given to them. And unfortunately, the word is sometimes plug and chug, okay? But we've kind of compensated that research and education by bringing in the graduate labs, opening them up for them to do graduate or critical thinking skills. So that one I would call it successful. And the other key thing that we really felt strongly about is really medicine. I think Dan gave the vision or the mission, if you will. It's all about people. Engineering is about improving, enhancing the quality of life. Okay, so along with those, what we did was that when I first got there, I think the medical school treats us more as technicians, unfortunately. Okay, but that's changing because they've got new equipment that they don't know how to use, and they would bring our faculty to really say, hey, help me with this, okay, but not necessarily to collaborate on research and so forth. So what we call ourselves, I call it technobiology, applying technology to biological issues, okay? Whereas biotechnology, which a lot of people use, should be about applying bio-understanding to technology, okay? Neural networks is a great example. Knowing how neurons work, we apply it to data analysis. Okay, so at we've done that, and it's really, I think, been successful, okay, because it's all about more collaboration. Actually, now we have quite a few, literally, co-PIs applying for NIH grants, okay, than we've ever had. And so this kind of, nice collaboration, I think it's great to see. It's helped us, of course, enhance our funding levels and so forth, and obviously also our collaboration among the different faculty. Okay, I think that's it, and I just wanted to let you know we applied this, what we're asking you to do later on, posters and so on. So don't be afraid to say failure, by the way. I know we only publish successes. Okay, thank you, and let me now